It's not probably the nicest time slot as it's the last one on a Saturday, so I'm really grateful to actually see anybody here. So I was actually getting ready to like drink some beers. So well, you can still go for something else. So like I'm not watching. I'm joking. So have you ever felt stuck in your career? Like, okay, so before I raise my hands, I come from PHP community. And I know that this is a Java conference, so I'm getting ready to get some rotten tomatoes in and stuff like that. But like, have you ever felt like that your career is at the peak and it's just going down? Anybody? Like, nobody? Really? Wow, okay. That's rather interesting because I had those issues more than a few times. And I know a lot of people that had similar ones. So some of us decide to switch job. Maybe sometimes for better paycheck, sometimes for a more interesting project, sometimes because we want to change our stacks. Unfortunately, some people decide to go to management because that's the only way to grow. And if you ever had a sucky manager, you would understand how bad of an idea is to have a technical person trying to do people. We as technical people, we as technical persons are not used to communicate, stuff like that. And yeah, maybe there are some different ways to go there. And on the other hand, should we as a community, should we as a company, should we as a society lose all of that invested experience and knowledge that you have to ship you to something completely unrelated? Maybe some of you want to give back. And when I say give back, I mean to your community, maybe to open source. Anybody? Okay, few hands. So that's a valid thing. You can organize a meetup, you can organize a conference like this, you can maintain or help maintain some open source project, but there are different ways as well. And I've done some of community work. Some of you might know me as a Zagreb PHP organizer. Some of you might know me as a WebCamp Zagreb organizer. Some of you know me as a speaker. So I have been in this industry for quite a while, in this community as well. So I've been in the industry for almost 20 years now, and let's think about learning by teaching. My name is Miro Svrtan. If you're interested, you can find me on Twitter or ping me by email. So are there any experts here? Experts in anything. Experts in your favorite library, framework, language, something. Does anybody here feel like an expert? 2.5 hands? Really? What are you doing? So, like, I'm not coming from Java community. So, what are you expert in?
Teaching.
Okay. You? And you?
Java.
Okay. I'm not from Java, so why Java? In like 2 simple sentences.
Why Java?
Why not something else?
It's the limited work. Choosing for work is tough. Out of my mind.
Yes, communication is never easy. It's easy to communicate with people that you have been working for years in company because you know each other. You know how the other person thinks, breathes, and stuff. But how do you feel when there's a new member coming to your team? Somebody who doesn't know anything about your team. How did you feel when you went to another team, to another company? Did you have communication problems? By teaching people, you learn a lot about communication. but you also get a deeper understanding of the things that you teach. I found out that by just doing something, I thought I was an expert. But when I had to explain those things to people who don't have my background, my choices, my problems, I found out how much I don't know. I also found out that by teaching, you actually start knowing, getting deeper into the subject, that you thought, that you knew why to use a tool, how to use a tool, but not always why. So, I'm not trying to say that you should become a full-time teacher. I'm going to intertwine terms like mentoring and teaching, because for some people it means one thing, for some people it means other. So please take in mentoring equals teaching for this talk, and just this talk. Okay? Everyone okay with that? So, I've been working with remote teams for almost 5 years now. And I've been mostly working in teams that have seniors only, which is not something that I was able to do here in Zagreb. I'm from Zagreb. And that meant that for years, I didn't get to help people out, teach them, mentor them. And about 3 years ago, I started working in one company, in a previous team, and I got an intern for 6 months into the company as part of university studies, and I got some time and resources to teach him, to mentor him about the company, how to do stuff, how to develop, how to solve some bugs, problems, and stuff like that. And I loved it. But those six months went away. And on one of our local meetups, some people were talking on the drinks later that, hey, how do I find a job? I'm a developer in technology A or technology B, but companies are looking for experts. Well, maybe not experts, but people who already have expertise in that domain. Is it PHP? Is it Java? Is it JavaScript? Is it Ruby? Is it Python? Is it front-end? Whatever you do. So how do I get a job there when nobody wants to give me a chance? What should I do? I already work. I don't have a lot of spare time to learn it. And I've decided, we went for a coffee, and I decided, hey, let's try it out. Let's try it for a few hours every week. I'll try to help you. I have no idea if we will succeed or not. Like, let me try to help you, to teach you. But as we started in about now 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I didn't set up clear boundaries. And by clear boundaries, what I mean is we should have time-boxed our meetings. Because we decided to do it on Monday after work at 6 p.m. What happened was I was so eager to teach somebody, he was so eager to absorb that we would spend 4 or 5 hours there. I would get so tired, but he would get as tired as well and couldn't absorb all of that information that I was just throwing out. If you don't trust me, try learning brainfuck in 15 minutes. Just look at those patterns that you all know from Java or other languages and try to implement them in 15 minutes in brainfuck. And you'll see how much you don't know. We decided to go with a different setup a few months in, with only 2 hours every second Monday. That meant that both of us were really looking forward to that Monday because, hey, I'm going to teach him something, and he was eager to learn more. But we time-boxed it to 2 hours because we both needed to pace ourselves. I'm not 22-year-old. I can't do a marathon by sprinting. If you know what that means, try to sprint for years and years and years. When you get into your 30s, it's not that easy. But there was another problem. I finally understood what agile means. And like, I've planned all of our sessions in like pure agile. Not that deadline, waterfall, scrum, Kanban, something that people do. No, this is a priority for now. If he came with so many questions that Monday, we would first do that. Maybe we wouldn't even do the things that I planned for that session. Because his questions were more valuable than what I planned. How many of you do that on your daily work? Understand the value and the priorities. And in about a year's time, as we started winding down that mentoring, I decided, hey, I want to do it again. But this time, I'm going to do it with few people. Because I got comfortable, I knew how to do some of the things. I learned a lot of how to manage one person, how to teach to one person. And I wanted to use those 2 or 3 hours to try to teach more people, but also to teach them to work together, because they can learn from each other as well. And I posted it on Facebook. Hey, I'm looking for some people that want mentoring. Like, if you're interested, ping me. 12 people pinged me. I was like, well, that's much more than those 2, 3 that I hoped for. And I decided, hey, why not do a course? I sat down with all of them. Only 9 went through. The other 3 were not that interested at the end. But I was sure that not all 9 of them would survive the course. And by survive, I mean not quit. And I was okay with that, because it was on voluntary basis. Okay? I think that it's the worst thing that if you do trainings and you have that one person that somebody said you have to go there. And then they're like, I don't want to be here. Why am I here? What are you talking about? Then they start Facebook, and then they come in 5 minutes and doesn't work. Here, people were voluntary. They were happy to be there. And I was sure that they wanted to learn, which is a great feature of when you're working this way. So we did about every second Saturday for about 5 months. We had 11 or 12 sessions. And it would start on Saturday 9 a.m. and we would be done by 2 p.m. And now you're all like 5 hours. Well, we took a lot of breaks. I decided from start that every 45 to 60 minutes, we're going to do a 5 to 10 minute break. Something similar to Pomodoro if you tried it. Okay? Because if you try to teach people for 5 hours, you will never see them again. Okay? Never again. And I'm not a charismatic person. I'm really not. And I had to use those breaks for people to mingle, to communicate, to know each other, and to make the whole thing fun. And making things fun is actually not that hard. We started about 2 months in with retrospectives. Who here does retrospectives? 1, 2, 3 hands. Who here does Agile? Where are the retrospectives? So what a lot of people miss is the value of retrospectives in Agile communities. And I worked in a team where retrospective was really great. We were open, and I wanted to share that with others. It's really important to start every session with saying what was good, what needs improvement, and if somebody has ideas. People would also share, hey, last time you taught us something, we are now doing that in our company. I got people to do pull requests. Git, Symfony, it's a framework in PHP. A lot of that just because by showing them, and they started implementing it that week. We would also do a retrospective at the end of each session. So I would have a quick feedback loop on what was good and what was bad on that session so that I could quickly improve the next one. Again, planning versus plans, this is much harder than just teaching one person. Because you have to prepare the materials, look at some homework and stuff, but to be honest, it took on average an hour for each session to prepare. Sometimes it was 15 minutes, sometimes it was 2 hours. So we decided to do a fun project. And when I say fun project, out of 9 of them, I split them into 3 teams of 3 people and said, hey, think of a fun project and let's implement it. So that we don't do something that you are not interested in. And we failed. We failed miserably. Like miserably, because I thought that in companies people are not motivated because they don't understand the product. They don't feel happy about what they do. They're not interested in implementing some accounting thing or some bank or some CMS or something. Here people picked what to do. The problem was that you can't leave juniors alone. And most of them were juniors. To try to explain some of the problems there, please don't do the same mistake I did. Don't mistake luck for smarts. If I put you all in an airplane that's crashing down and you just have to pick a few buttons there to save your life, you sure you could do it? I'm not going to think that you are smart because you pressed random buttons and it worked. And if you put juniors on a project, it's literally pressing random buttons, and yes, some will do. Does anybody here teach or mentor except you in your company? Nobody? Okay, you. So I think it's actually more important to try to teach people outside of your company who come from different backgrounds, different companies, different types of projects, maybe even different technology stacks. Because then you can learn from them. You can learn the problems they have. But please be ready for a whole bunch of silly questions. Like really silly questions. But keep in mind, they're not stupid questions. From day one, I said there are no stupid questions, only stupid answers. Because, for instance, nobody's laughing? Thank you. I taught you already something. Because they might be confusing Java and JavaScript. They might have thought about the Java applets. Maybe I, as a teacher, didn't teach them something right. If I make fun of them on this question, they will never ask again. Okay? But there's a bigger problem that usually what happens is that there was one brave person that said, hey, how do you do something? Or can you repeat? Or I don't understand. But there are more of them that were scared to do so. Trust is really not easy to obtain, but you can lose it like this. Just try to make fun of them once. They will not be that happy to ask for help again. And I think that actually sharing is caring. And because I shared my knowledge with others, they shared back. But not only with me, with others. You can learn a lot. So if I shortened their path, they have time to learn things that I had no experience with. They can explore new things and teach all of us back. So I can give you an example of one of my mentees that actually did a talk a few months ago about code reviews. I know everything about writing nice code commits. I don't practice it, but I know everything about it. Since then, I started practicing really nice commits. I love it. It was a really good kick in the ass by a junior. I've been in this industry for 20 years. A few months ago, I learned something from a junior person about something that I already knew, but didn't understand how important it was, or I ignored how important it was. Who of you would like to speak here or on a local meetup? Like few hands. One thing that so from February to May, I have 3 new talks to prepare. Last year, I prepared 3 new talks. Year before that, I prepared 3 or 4 new talks. And I know of people who are much smarter than me, much better speakers than me, much better developers than me, that I can learn from, that have no idea what to speak about. They don't understand by, oh, but yeah, I've been using this for 5 years, everybody knows that. They think that that's not interesting. They are passionate about sharing it, but they think that the people would not be interested. On the other hand, I have a whole bunch of ideas. I actually prepared 7 abstracts in January out of about 15 ideas. I'm not saying all of the talks are good. This is one of them. I hope to get some feedback from you, hopefully good, but yeah. I do hope that I got some of you interested in teaching and mentoring and helping others, because you can learn a lot from it. You can get, if you want to be selfish, you personally can get a lot out of it. But how to start? Where to start it? How to find people? Ask on social networks. Your friends, your other people might like, retweet, share, and other things which will get you other people involved. Try to ask on your local meetup. I'm sure that no local meetup will say no if you go there and say, hey, I would like to mentor people. Can you give me 2 minutes to just come up and say, hey, my name is Miro. I've been in this industry for 10 years, 20 years, 50 years. I do X, Y, Z, and I would like to mentor somebody. If you're interested, come and speak to me afterwards. Thank you. It's as easy as that. But where to do it? So if you're doing it with one person, you can probably use your own office. Okay? If you're trying to do it with multiple people, and I would not suggest that if you don't have experience. Try first with one person to get some of that experience in. But when you get into places, in Zagreb, there's a Mama in Preradovićeva, which if you ping, I'm sure they can find a time slot for you. They will really be happy to help you. Co-working places. Just ping them, tell them your story, and say, hey, we would need a few hours, and they'll probably give it to you. Try to ask your company. Maybe you can use your conference room after work. Ask another company if is not interested. I mean, if you tell them, hey, if you have some junior that would like to join us, I would be happy with that. That will sell it to them, because they will just get free education, which is great for you and them. But just ask around. You can again use social networks, you can use local meetups, not even your local meetups, the other ones. Just try and ask. Maybe somebody will offer you some solution that I didn't think of. So, just a quick recap. To mentor, teach one person, you can spend like 2 hours every 2 weeks. That's going to be more than okay. I know that some of you have busy lives. Try to find some time slot that would fit you, that would help you, that wouldn't destroy your personal life. Maybe once a month would be good with them. It all depends on the person you're trying to teach or mentor, but try not to do it like every 6 months because you do need some continuity. Say every second Tuesday, every first Wednesday of the month, every Monday if you have the time. If you're going with a bigger group, even 4 hours every 2 weeks is more than enough. Okay, it does take that some extra time during the week, but you can always find 15 minutes to reply to some emails, GitHub issues, Slack, or something similar. Okay? It's not that hard to find those small bits and pieces of time. Thank you. Any questions, maybe? That was a really simple question? Nothing?
What advice do you suggest for students who try to find mentors? What do they need to look for? Especially if they want to
Where to find them or what to look for?
go to them.
Local meetups? Social network would work as well. Try to talk to some of your assistants or professors if they know somebody who would be interested in helping out. Okay? I know that for some people, it's going to be too hard to find some time to teach. Okay? I understand that. But why don't you maybe just talk to your company and say, hey, can we count this as working hours? I'm really eager to teach people. Can we count those 4 hours as my working hours? I will leave every day an hour early. I will come on Mondays late. I will leave on Fridays early. Your company will get a happy employee, okay? And the source of possibly new people in, okay? But please don't forget that companies are still not in charge of your careers. It's your career that you have to take care of. Thank you. If you were too